Yeah.
We all
They were
did dumb stuff
14.
at 14.
Yeah. It's like, but I mean, to your point, it's like, man, if every sin that you've ever done, if it was documented for the world to see,
Immediate cancel.
everybody's canceled.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
Welcome to the Mandy Show. The Mandy Show. The Mandy Show.
Welcome to the Mandy Show. Today, Janella and I are talking with Joshua Broome about what it's like to raise a family after being a porn star. But before we go there, let's talk about something we all share, which is that every single one of us has something on the internet that will outlive us. A post, a video, a hot take that we were so sure about, a photo from that bachelorette party in Vegas that we thought was gone until the internet said, no worries, we keep receipts. And not only that, but our kids and grandkids will now be able to look at photos and posts from decades ago where we were mourning a breakup a little too publicly or passionately defending a political belief that now makes us cringe. The truth is, you don't have to be a porn star to understand digital regret. You just have to be a human being with Wi-Fi. So today, we're talking about what it means to build a family when your past is searchable, and how to navigate when you've grown but the internet hasn't, how to counsel our kids who are growing up in a time of no erasures, and ultimately how redemption doesn't require deletion to be real. Joshua Broome knows his terrain better than almost anyone. His story moves from public consumption to public testimony, and the way he fathers, leads, and tells the truth is giving countless people permission to stop running from their past and start redeeming it. So help us welcome Joshua Broome. Yeah!
Love doing it.
It's so powerful.
I'm
It's just
I'm
like,
a theater nerd.
You are.
okay,
That's so cool.
what's your favorite play that you've ever been in or production?
I've been in.
As a theater nerd, I mean,
Well, I'm more of a consumer. Like my favorite,
okay.
the consumption of it, like Wicked for sure.
yeah. I mean, we could talk about that for hours. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. Okay, today we get to talk about just living a public life after having a very public life.
Yeah.
And I heard you say something, I think it was at MomCon, or it might have been in a previous conversation where you're like, you're at your kid's soccer game.
Yeah.
And there's parents on the sideline who have seen you having sex online.
Yeah.
And so that's just such a crazy thing. Or I'm sure you've been at maybe the airport and someone makes eye contact with you and you're like, oh, they know who I am.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about what that feels like and looks like and how you navigate that on a daily basis.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't say this exclusively, but for the most part, when someone says something to me like that, it's like, that doesn't make me weird. That makes you weird. You know?
Yeah, totally. It's like, oh, well, I know what you've been up to.
Because, like, I mean, there was something I did, like, 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago.
Like, how do you know me?
Yeah.
How do you know me?
Yeah, I mean, that it does happen a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't kind of cipher through that as much. Generally when someone comes up to me and talks to me, like they know me from social media or something, but it still happens where it's like, I mean, the weirdest time it's ever happened is that it was in a gym while I was changing and someone said, "Are you Rocco Reed?" I'm like,
Oh my God.
Wow.
this is the weirdest moment of my life.
Yeah.
And I've been in some weird moments.
Yeah.
And this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm like, I used to be.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a dad,
Yeah.
there's a lot of complications that come with this too, because your kids will probably at some point understand
Yeah.
the things that are online. And
Right.
how are you going to navigate that?
Yeah. I mean, I think just preparing them for it where they know who I am. And it's interesting because, like, with Hope, even, she's like, it doesn't bother me if someone points to the person that you used to be because I know who you are today. And I think if you have enough equity showing up and being a certain person, it's like, well, I mean, I love the intro. It's like, if we're going to keep it 100, there's something that you've done in your life, and
Right.
maybe there's
Right.
tangible evidence of it, but
Right.
So I think it's almost freeing for me. It's like there's like you don't have anything on me, you know.
Totally. Yes.
But at the same time, yes, I do acknowledge that we'll be uncomfortable and hurtful and confusing
Yeah.
to our kids. But the way that I can minimize the hurt and the confusion is to say, hey, you can come to me with anything. You can ask me anything. And that is true. I did do those things, and I do regret them. But God has used them mightily, and not to say this is you shouldn't go wreck your life and then rebuild your life. But that's true of all of us.
Yeah.
Like, of course, broken people do broken things. And I think to pretend like, it's like just because I gave my life to Jesus, like that's that's not who I am anymore. Like, yeah, that's true, but that did happen. So I think we were having a conversation at some point, and I think it's important for us to navigate through where I used to think it was my father's fault for not being there, that I did the things that I did. And then I had to take responsibility. I couldn't live in this victim mentality of, woe is me. I did these things. This is who I am. If he would have been there, I wouldn't have been. It's like, well, because I've placed my faith in Jesus, there's nothing that his blood doesn't cover, and that's definitively true. So if that's not like, it's not good phraseology to make you feel better about yourself. It is a reality to live in. So if my sins have been moved from me as far as the east is from the west, that's not something to say to make yourself feel better. It's a reality to live in, but it doesn't change the fact that I did do those things.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to navigate, but again, the more open and honest you are with them, it's going to prepare them to handle it in a healthy way. It's like we're not called as parents. We are to protect our kids, but more so to guide our kids so that they can forge their own path and protect themselves in this broken world.
Totally. You said a phrase, and it, like, in my body, I felt like, whew, it like felt like relief. And you said, you don't have anything on me.
Yeah.
And I think we, like you said, there's receipts online for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who are hurting because they're terrified that something's going to come out, or someone's going to call them out because of something they did in the past, or even all these poor teenagers who is like sextortion, and they're committing suicide because they sent someone a pic, a dick pic or whatever, and they're so humiliated by it. And we have this culture of shame around decisions we make in a moment that then we think define us for the rest of our life.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know how we got to a place where we just live for cancel culture.
Yeah.
Even with the church, I just, like there's been people that have done horrendous things. I think about like Robbie Zacharias, who, his mentor was, and him, or people that I looked up to, I learned from regarding apologetics, and nothing that he did in the name of Jesus, for Jesus, regarding him communicating, none of those things are less true or less helpful. But he was a broken person, and he did a lot of heinous things. And I think it's just wild to see the blowback of someone does something, and then it's like, let's burn them at a stake.
Yeah. It's like it makes everybody feel better.
Yeah.
If
But
we
it's
can
so-
like it's a scapegoat.
But it's so weird because
It's
we
super arrogant.
But we
Yeah.
live in a day and time where, like an athlete or an actor or someone that creates this They all of a sudden they've got a lot of influence. It's like, well, when they were 14, they tweeted something,
Right.
antagonistic towards another person. It's like, of course they did.
Right.
Yeah.
We all
They were
did dumb stuff at
14.
14. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
but I mean, to your point, it's like, man, if every sin that you've ever done, if it was documented for the world to see,
Immediate cancel.
everybody's
Yeah,
canceled.
Yeah.
for sure.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, for me, just back to your original question, like how will I navigate that with, our kids? We'll prepare them by telling them the truth. Like they know who their dad is. And like that version of me never met the guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, I mean.
Yeah.
and
And that's the truth.
And that's what Hope
Yeah.
says to me. Like
Yeah.
Hope's like, again, she's when she says something, it's just like mic drop. But we were in a conversation with someone, and it was a genuine question. Maybe not a lot of self-awareness, but it was a genuine question. Someone asked her, how does the fact that he's been with all these people not make you like resentful towards him, and that it's all online? And how does that not make you insecure as his partner sexually? And she thought about it for a second, and she was like, why would I speak to myself the way that Satan does?
Yeah, and co-sign that.
Yeah. Wow.
I just, I wouldn't. Like the things that he did, 2 years before I met him, that he's deeply remorseful for, has repented of, and his life has been transformed. I'm not going to judge him
Yeah.
based upon that, because
Yeah.
he shows me every day the man that he is, and I don't know that guy. So I mean, I think that
Love
should
that
be
answer.
that
yeah,
should be
that's such a good
Yeah.
answer.
but that should just be the way. It's like, why should we're so quick to celebrate people's accomplishments and so slow to forgive people's worst mistakes.
And also sometimes celebrating their
Yeah.
mistake.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Almost in that same 10 of like, you made it, and then when you crash and burn, they're celebrating that too.
Well,
That's
I
terrible.
think, but I mean, I think it's like, I mean, if in the same way that if you drove a red Ford Edge, you would all of a sudden start seeing red Ford Edge, and it's just you've just become aware of that. It's just the way that cognitively your brain works, and when you see brokenness in someone else that resides in you, it's amplified.
Yeah.
So the way that you make less of your problem is to disassociate the reality that this is something that you're struggling with, or this is part of your story. It's like, oh, look at them,
Yes. Yeah.
or
Theirs is worse.
yeah, theirs is
Yeah,
worse.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
It's like, yeah,
We're really good, especially Christians, at ranking sins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, what you did was a 10.
yeah,
Mine's barely a 2. We
Right.
don't even need to talk about it.
yeah. And I mean, and then
Why do we do that?
I think it's in our nature for us to. I mean, just think about the conversation that Jesus was having with Nicodemus. Like Nicodemus, like the Pharisee of Pharisees, the teacher of teachers, and he looks at him and says that you need to be born again. He's like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Don't you know who I am?" I think that's how everyone like kind of views themselves. Like, don't you know who I think I am?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then it makes you feel better when you see someone worse than you. And I think sometimes that's how you navigate through conviction, because conviction it either compels you to cover up or to confess.
Yeah.
And sometimes the way that we cover up is like, hey, look over there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's really good.
But like my book, like the last chapter is around cancel culture, but really it's around forgiveness, because I mean I've done 1,000 pornographic films, So like that should be the thing in which cancels me, right? That should be that's this is who I am, and how could I ever talk about holiness or righteousness, and how could I be a good and faithful husband? How could I be talk about purity, live in purity? How could I ever do those things? Because those aspects of my life have been canceled, right? It's like, well, no, because you could be a virgin and be a pervert at the same time,
Yeah.
because exclusively like virginity and purity do not always go hand in hand.
Right. Exactly.
So we think sometimes, well, I'm so much better than this person, so it makes the wrong in me look less bad, and maybe even to me.
That's such a good distinction. I'm curious, we talked a little bit, I think, in the last episode about secrets that people keep. And like on average, people have 13 secrets.
Yeah.
And most of them are around sex.
Yeah.
Why is it such an uncomfortable, embarrassing thing that that's like the thing that people get weird about, or it's like hard to confess?
Well, again, I'm Bible nerd here, so it's just like the Bible tells us that sexual sin is sin against our own body. So it afflicts us in a way that scorns us, and scorning equates to shame. And Hebrews 12:2, like Jesus is saying, hey, I scorned your shame. I'm looking down as your shame is insignificant. But when we look at our shame, when we experience our shame associated to sex, well, there's something chemically that's happened. That there's been things that we've bonded to. There's things that we can't forget, and it's sacred. Like sex is sacred. I mean, that's why. I mean, in the church, even that's why pornography is one of the most prolific weapons that Satan has ever used. And obviously, this is another conversation, but just like pornography and abortion and all these things, it's this misconception that sex is not sacred and it doesn't mean something. But even if you don't say that it does, that it does. So I think like that's why there's so much secretism around it, because the shame, it's like it's in your bones, and that's why, again, like that's why like sexual assault and there's trauma that happens when that happens, that is almost you're incapable of articulating it completely, because like it makes you afraid, it makes you not trust, even if it wasn't your fault, you feel dirty, and like all these things you can't navigate through them. I mean, again, so many side conversations we could have, but when I was in the porn industry, I'm doing porn. I'm doing 20 plus scenes a month. Does
it ever just get like, ugh, I have to do this?
It was a
again?
job.
Yeah.
There was never like all this like great connection with someone and this like hot spicy moments. It's like, I'm like every single day, like girls using like some kind of like numbing cream or alcohol or drugs, and I'm using like some kind of like erectile dysfunction medication, and like the sex is real and it feels good, and the climax is real and all that stuff, but it's so forced and so fake. It's so unnatural. But I did that for long enough to kind of come numb to it, but also kind of associate sex with some kind of normality. And long story short, I was in a space where I was doing a VIP like birthday party, and it was these they owned a really well-known fashion brand, and I was drugged and I was raped. And I told myself that it was my fault that I was there, because I knew like the reason they wanted me there is because who I was and what I did. I looked good with my shirt off or whatever, but there was a deeper reason that I was there, and it was because of how I lived my life. It justified what they did. Like in the same
Lordy.
like in the same vein that like these are real conversations people have, and that the cute girl on college campus
The way she
that gets
dresses or
arrested.
whatever,
Well, if she
yeah.
wouldn't have been wearing that, that wouldn't happen.
Yes.
She was
Yes.
asking for it.
Yeah.
And I think like we just have this like warped way of thinking about sex, but it's so hard to communicate. But I shared that to say, once that happened to me, that was really kind of the tip of the iceberg and where I wanted to take my life. And it was because I thought, I was, violated by two men, and I was like, man, this is now who I am. Made me question like my.
No, give me your hand.
Oh, I thought you were like putting the mic. But like it made me question like who I am. Like am I am I gay?
Right,
Like,
right.
like all these questions. Like,
Yeah.
but I think there's just something that's like unmentionable because you don't even know how to say it that happens to you, and and so to what extent, whether there was consent and it was a Friday night and you regret it after the fact, or it was a picture you sent or a text that you sent,
Sure.
Whatever it is, this regret is attached to shame that it is attached to your soul.
Yeah.
And like it's so
That
hard
now
to
owns you in a way,
yeah, and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's like stuck to you.
Yeah.
And it makes
Yeah.
the way that you connect with people like different. It's almost like if you have a piece of tape and you put it down and then you pick it up and you try to put it back down, it's not quite as sticky. And that's kind of like how like we are created to to engage in relationships, and it just makes you feel like I don't know how to do this, and it's my fault, and I don't know how to navigate that. And I feel like that's why it's so complicated.
Totally.
Because sex is so divine. I mean, I love my Catholic brothers and sisters, but I get a little bit of pushback with this. But if you look at the creation, sex was in the picture before sin entered the picture.
Ooh, that's a good.
Sex existed before
Insight.
sin.
Yeah.
God called sex good before sex
Wow.
was corrupted.
That's really
So sex has
good.
always been a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But when you engage in it in a way that is outside of God's design, it bruises you in a way that disorients you. And it doesn't matter if it's, on a phone or in person or you say something or experience something or you're violated, like whatever it is. It's just something that God had a very special and sacred intent for. And when you experience outside of that, it bruises you.
And I think in our culture, it's just getting amplified, right? Like with OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And I don't know what her name was, but there was a girl who like slept with 1,000 men in one day or something like that.
Oh
Or-
my goodness. Let's go there.
I mean, so I also have a friend who does like prayer ministry, deliverance
Yeah.
ministry. And she was telling me, she's like, the amount of people who come through here who have been engaged in bestiality. I know this is a tender topic, but we have a perversion problem in our culture.
But again, like there is nothing new under the sun.
nothing.
Like bestiality,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
like engaging with
Right.
children, like all these things. It's all in the Bible.
Yeah.
Right.
So
the worst parts.
yeah, the absolute worst parts.
Yeah.
And like if you look at Corinth, you look at Ephesus, like sex
That's
was
a good point.
sex was worshipped to the extent that they were temples built to these sex gods. And the way in which you worshipped a sex god is you
Sex
paid a
with the
prostitute.
priest. Yeah.
Like that's the way.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like this is not a new thing. But man, I wish that I could meet Miss Phillips. I wish I could
Yeah.
meet her because, man, I saw a video. I've got a lot to say, but I saw a video that so I think she did like 100 guys in 24 hours, or 1,000 guys in 24
I
hours.
don't know.
Is it 1,000 or 100?
I don't know.
like,
It
Well, she did.
I
Well, she
didn't-
did.
was like,
She did
"Ooh."
one, and then she did another one. She did. She did it like one. It was like an astronomical amount, and then she like 10x'd it. But after she had done the first one or the second one, I'm not sure which one it was. But after she had done it, someone was sitting and talking with her after the fact, and she was obviously like very emotionally distraught. And a few weeks ago, she posted that she got baptized,
Really?
and people were like, and then she said, "Well, I'm going to keep doing porn," and I'm like,
Yeah.
and people were just like, "Oh, she's just using like that for like clicks or whatever." And I'm like, "Let's keep it 100. Like she doesn't need clicks.
Right.
You know, she's doing just fine.
Right.
You know."
She's on a journey.
Yeah,
Of getting
that's
to know
right.
Jesus.
But that's
That's
the
right.
point. Like,
Right.
man, I remember, again, maybe I should say this, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to say it anyway. I remember when I was serving at church for the first time, and like it was just like a little deal where I'm just like I was like, I naturally gravitate towards leadership, so I was just like I was going to help organize this like level of hospitality like at church. And all of a sudden they were like, "Hey, we don't think you should do this. You should do this other thing." And it was like weird, and some other stuff happened, and then like 2 years later, this person reached out to me online. I was like, "Hey, the reason that happened is because an elder at the church knew who you were, and they didn't want you to be around their wife."
It's infuriating.
And I'm just like, and I just think about where that could have pushed me,
Sure.
you know?
Oh, sure.
So maybe Lily Phillips, like maybe she got baptized for the wrong reason. But
it's
what
a
if?
step.
But
maybe she
what
didn't.
if?
Right.
Because you don't like. Do you think you could just like God interacts with you based on like on you,
Yeah.
on your
Right.
timeline?
Right.
Like, don't you understand who God is?
Right.
So, do you think that she can't get dipped in the water in
Right.
baptism? And maybe she's not doing it for the right reasons. And maybe she's not living the right way. But do you not think that God is going to meet her in that space?
Right.
And he's working on her conviction and wrestling with her?
Well, and quite frankly, all of us are in that same
All of us.
place.
But-
I'm still working on my
If we're honest
sanctification.
about it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as the church,
Yes.
should we be people? It's like, yeah, I think it's a fine thing to say that she should not publicly proclaim baptism and then also in the same vein say, "I'm going to keep doing porn. I don't think that God minds." That's not true. God does not want you to do that. That does not honor him. That doesn't honor yourself. But for us to say that it's heretical and she's this and she's that, dude, pray for her.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
She's a new sister in Christ. Like this
Oh
is
my gosh,
not-
we should be
Yeah,
celebrating.
Exactly.
And how
helping
many
her get.
of us this is so crazy that as Christians we kind of there's a church not too far from here that had a big banner on the side of their church that said "Sinners Welcome." And we know that there are so many churches that are like, you can come, bring your sin with you, but not that sin.
Yeah.
Get cleaned up and then come back.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys know Nala Ray? So she was like in the like top 1% earners of OnlyFans, and 2 years ago she gave her life to Jesus, and she's been on this like radical journey. And the person that led her to the Lord, his name's Jordan, and they've gotten married, and and she erased all of her content and did all this stuff. And we actually spoke on a panel together in Nashville last year, but she just gets so much pushback online.
Yeah.
And it's these questions that I used to get. It's like it's the questioning of the validity of your faith.
So crazy.
And again, it just
Crazy.
goes back to like, I think it's because like sex is the idol of our day.
Yeah.
And people who wrestle with some type of sexual immorality, it convicts them or hits them in a way where it's like, man, she was doing the thing in which I used to consume or still consume, and she's going to walk away from that.
Wow.
That's a good point.
But it's just complicated.
Yeah.
But Nala's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She's on fire for the Lord.
That's
She's on fire, and she's. I mean, she's young. You know, she's young in in age and young in her walk with Jesus. But she's surrounded herself with community. She's done the right things, and she's trying to honor God. And I think a lot of people, because she's got millions upon millions of followers, like it would be really easy for her to use that influence in a wrong way. And I think she's got the right people in her life to help her navigate that. But people don't want to let go of who she used to be. And that has nothing to do with her and everything to do with them.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's having the right people around you who you know are not going to condemn you.
Yeah.
She needs some hopes in her life,
Yeah.
right? And I think what's so sad is that when a person is ready to confess or share, or it's a lot of times less about how God's going to respond versus my mom, my dad, my coworkers. That unfortunately then does lead to the suicides and the depression.
Yeah,
and
I mean, you look at
we should feel terrible about that.
100%. I mean, the Bible tells us, like, 1 John, confess your sins unto God, and He's righteous and just to forgive us. And then James 5:16, it's like, okay, we're petitioned to confess our sins one to another, so that a righteous sister, a righteous brother can pray for us, so we can experience healing. And I think that's where a lot of people are stuck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of forgiven people who are still wounded.
Yeah. Because if I'm to confess my sins to you, the other,
Yeah.
you have a responsibility in how you respond.
Yeah.
To
And
how I just confessed
respond is going to dictate to what you feel.
100%.
And I think there's a spiritual component, there's an emotional healing component, and then there's a physical component. And we were talking a little bit earlier, and this is true in my life. I have a handful of young men who I know who are in their 20s who are experiencing ED because of too much porn usage or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, and the same I think is true for a lot of us women who went through purity culture in the church or whatever. We all grew up with some sexual dysfunction or ideas around it. How do we rewire our physiology
Yeah.
in a healthy way to then experience meaningful, intimate sex with our spouse after maybe having some dysfunction?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to understand even biology in that, the way that, like, if hope doesn't feel safe and protected and heard, and if I don't feel honored and affirmed, then we're going to have a difficult time connecting. And we can have, again, like I shared earlier, like, you can have sex that is not intimate, or you can have intimacy that is without sex. And I think if you don't have both of those things, you can't have either of those things in the way in which they were meant to be experienced. So
Those things happen long before you get to the bedroom.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think I love my friend Jay Stringer. He wrote a book called Unwanted, but it's about unwanted sexual desire, behavior. And then he just wrote another book that is kind of like the continuation of that conversation called Desire. But we have these disordered desires, and like, all your desires are good, but I might have a disorder in that desire because there's brokenness in my story. And there's no, like, PDF to fix everyone, because that disorder is individualistic to the person. And there's something in your story, there's something that you've believed that's untrue, or there's something that you experienced that did hurt and that was wrong, that has played a fact in how I experience things. Just again, like, back to confession, when I'm telling people about confessing sexual immorality, or anything really, the depth of your confession is going to equate to the level of your healing. And it's easy to, you're sitting in, a group of people. I struggle with porn. I watched it last night, and then someone says, man, me too. That is honoring and helpful, but to the person that says, man, I had a really hard day, and I reached out to one of my parents, and they didn't show up for me like I hoped they would, and I felt hurt and frustrated by that. And then when I went home, I felt really lonely, and in my loneliness, I found myself going to a website, and on this website, this is what I put in the search bar. Not only that I went to said website, what was I searching for? And then I watched porn. I masturbated, and then I felt terrible about it, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I actually did it again, and this has been a reoccurring behavior for me. So to the person that said all of that, there's breadcrumbs that would lead you to why they did what they did. Because pornography is problematic, but it's not the problem. Right. Pornography is the Band-Aid that's over the actual problem. So it's in the identifier of emotionally, this is what I felt, and this is what I did. Well, I got to dig into that. Yeah. It's why have I cognitively trained a pattern in my brain that every time I feel lonely, I find myself going to a website and plugging in these certain search terms, and it's in the type of porn that I'm watching is the evidence of the wound that I have. Wow. And that's a lot deeper, specific conversation. And that's why, the only way to experience healing in your life, to not be owned by your past, you have to own it. Yeah. And the way that you own it is you own up. And it's the most freeing thing you can do. So yeah, I mean, I think that's where you gotta get to. It's like I gotta say all of it. Yeah. And that person's actually not judge me, but listen to me, and then kind of point out what I said. It's like, man, maybe there's something there in that. Yeah. For me, I needed significant counseling. Yeah. For me personally, but sometimes you just need a good friend that's willing to not listen. And they're willing to listen but not judge. Right. Yeah. And in their good listening, they don't tell you what to do. They ask you good questions.
Do you see porn usage differing between men and women in the reasons why there's consumption, or is it just it's like individual? What are the nuances there?
Yeah, I mean, it's so complicated, with guys. With guys, there's a lot of father or mother wounds. There's this feeling of they weren't safe, they weren't protected, or if there was abuse, there's this desire to be able to feel that you can control a situation when you never felt in control. Maybe if you were rejected, porn will never reject you. So that's an element there. Yeah, I mean, it's just endless. It's just it's complicated in that there's always a wound that points to a desire, but and then the other complexity is, what we're talking about a little bit before we started rolling. There's this kind of wave of guys struggling with erectile dysfunction. Porn contains 92% of all pornography contains violence, and now you got these people learning things and then reenacting it because they think this is what sex is supposed to be like, and even girls who are watching it or being impacted by it. There's this wave of girls wrestling with an eating disorder because they feel like they have to look a certain way to have a certain partner, right. Or they get wounded because they get in this relationship and then it's like, well, you don't do X, Y, and Z, and that's what I'm really into.
Yeah. So distorting.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I mean-
because sexually, you shouldn't have preferences really in God's perfect plan. You know, if you've experienced anything outside of, you know, sex with one person for one lifetime, then you've there has been learnings and you develop desires and appetites for things, but they don't make that doesn't make them good or right, and that doesn't make them yours. So I think like when you get into a relationship, like God, I mean, just think about like the marriage vows. Like you may now kiss the bride. You may now kiss the bride, and it's this entering into like collective discovery.
Yeah.
Like you like that you know,
Yeah,
and that's the
absolutely.
and that's the beauty
Yeah,
of it.
for
And
sure.
that's it's like it. You never were supposed to have preconceived notions. Like the idea that people watch porn to get good at sex, or I've like in pretty much every Q&A I've ever done at a men's conference, someone has told some man that is in a Christian community that if your sex life isn't vibrant, you should use pornography either to learn
Like bring
something.
it into your
To
bedroom
learn
with your
like a
board.
positions and all
Yes.
those things. Wow.
Interesting.
But what you're actually doing is
Yeah.
you're inviting Satan into your marriage.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about marriage. Pornography in the bedroom.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's a bad idea. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, it's like what? Why? Like, if the objective of sex and marriage is self discovery and a collective pleasure and us serving one another, and it's just like this beautiful ongoing dance that it should get better over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But when I have preconceived notions and I'm bringing other people and other positions and other optics, when they're
You're disappointed.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like man, there's certain ingredients that just don't go in the pot, you know. And when I put them in there, it ruins the whole batch,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah, it just baffles me, and obviously I have a skewed perspective because I understand porn to be what it is because like most people think, oh, it's just capturing two people have sex. No, there's a director. There are two people who are being compensated to be there. Those two people who are being compensated to be there, there's some level of brokenness that caused them to say yes to being in that room. There's probably some level of coercion that's happening, maybe in both parties. And then what you see play out, it's, that the end product, it's after editing, it's after, lots of cuts, it's after all this stuff. And you think what you see is a depiction of what I should do when what I'm looking at is a fictitious representation of sex because I can't create what's happening because what's happening is not real.
Right. Right.
Even though they're really having sex, but what they're doing has nothing to do with the sex that should be happening in a marriage.
I think that's such a good point. And can we talk about like romance novels and Bridgerton and all of the things that women think are maybe like
Not as
not
Yeah.
as big of a
Soft
deal.
porn,
it's just
yeah.
like
Well, yeah,
oh,
but it's
no
but
less
it's
spicy.
but they're all learnings. They're all learnings, and I like in a lighthearted way. I'll say, hey, I'm speaking somewhere, especially when it's a co-ed crowd. Who has seen porn in the last 6 months? And most people are not. Even if they have, they're not going to raise their hand. I have over here. Yeah. But it's like, but here's the reality. Based on a biblical definition, and just a literal definition, like pornography is sexual imagery or depiction. So if that's, so if that's true, well, if you've listened to erotica, you've read erotica, you've watched Bridgerton, Games of Thrones, anything depicting sex, well, you've been enticed by that, you've been stimulated by that, and now that thought is now in your brain. So now I've whatever I've read or however it stimulated me, well, your body keeps a score.
Yep.
And because your body keeps a score, that is now a learning that I'm going to project into my idea of what intimacy, romance, sex is, instead of it being something that's discovered. Like the Bible tells us clearly, like, what is love? It starts with, love and it ends with, all these things, but it's all about sacrifice and not self-serving.
Yeah.
Like if you put on two columns, what is love and what is lust? They're not similar.
Right.
They're polar opposites. So I mean,
Yeah. Love is patient.
yeah, it's
Is lust
kind.
patient?
It's
You know?
yeah. No, it's not. I mean, another hot topic that I talk about is masturbation, and but it's like, if I am taking things in my own hands, literally, if I'm taking things in my own hands, what I'm doing is I'm teaching myself to be a selfish lover. I'm teaching myself to finish quickly. I'm teaching myself that there doesn't have to be any kind of connection for this to happen. And chemically, I'm bonding with whatever stimulated me and my environment. So my body is keeping the score in that I'm developing these learnings. Like there's multiple chemical, bonding elements that God designed us to experience when we have an orgasm. And it's like these things, it literally bonds us. And I think everyone loves to talk about soul ties, but it's more so, everything is spiritual, but I would say it's more so like my mind. It's like I'm bonding to this way in which I think sex is meant to be experienced. And what I end up missing out on is what it actually is.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
And I do think that's such an important topic that gets uncomfortable in marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like to talk with your husband, like, hey, can we have an honest conversation about masturbation? Like, I don't know. How does that?
But again, it's only weird if you make it weird.
Good point.
And it's like, and I would say if that's something that you're keeping from your spouse, it's like, well,
Let's talk about it.
let's talk, but let's talk about keeping stuff from our spouse. It's like you were saying, like
The secrets. The 12 secrets. Yeah.
that everyone's got a secret. It's like, man, well, it's I just knock it out in the shower real quick. It's like I didn't want to. I know you had a busy day.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
It's like that sounds legitimate and justifiable, but what is the real story that I'm actually telling? And it's like, well, no, I don't talk to her about that. It's like, well, why not?
Yeah.
And it's what you're not willing to say that says very much.
Totally. Totally.
Because if it's something that you're really slow to say, why would you not say it?
That's really good.
Yeah.
So I just think,
Powerful.
like,
It's
just
getting free, getting honest, getting open.
well, yeah, but so we should be able to talk about these things.
Totally. Yeah.
What's your biblical backing for masturbation? I know that'll come up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, if you think about, so Romans 12 says a reasonable and a rational response to the mercy, the withholding of what we do deserve from God, is for us to live as a living sacrifice. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians that sin, sexual sin, is sin against our own body, but our body's not our own. It was bought with a price, and our body is a temple for the Holy Spirit, and the fruit of the Holy Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit starts with love and ends with self-control. Marriage is designed for one flesh, not two fleshes. Living in the world, pleasing each other. So I would say there's significant evidence that it matters to God what I do with my body, that sex is something that's sacred, that's designed for marriage, and it's for connectivity, it's for pleasure, for all these things. My argument would be masturbation, it interferes and goes into the face of everything that sex is supposed to be, because it's supposed to be unifying and edifying and all about each other and self-serving, and not self-serving. So if
And it's very hard to like unentangle masturbation and you're going to play your highlight reel.
Sure.
Like something's going on.
Yeah, but
like,
but my argument too, because I've heard this argument. It's like I masturbate, but I don't look at nothing. I'm like,
Right.
number one, you're weird.
That's why I wanted
Yeah.
you
Number
to
one, you're weird.
talk about it a
Yeah.
little more.
You're weird.
Yeah.
You're a little bit weird. And but what are you saying? I mean, since the garden, we've believed that we know what's best for us and we want to create our own autonomy. And again, if I'm pleasing myself sexually, what am I doing?
yeah. Yeah.
So I'm saying I'm taking my pleasure at my own hands, and I'm going to serve myself. And again, I'm learning to disconnect from another person. I'm learning, to finish quickly, and all these things. It just it just flies into the face of the sacredness of sex.
Yeah.
So, like, can I build a biblical argument that is definitively sin? I think so. But best case scenario or best argument, it's beneficial in no way.
Right.
And it's like, if it doesn't honor God or help my marriage, and it only helps me and it's for me, that sounds selfish.
Yeah. Totally.
It's and selfishness sounds a lot like sin. So and if sin is hitting the bullseye, the bullseye of the bullseye of the bullseye, if that's what anything outside of that is sin, that definitely sounds like it's outside of what God designed.
Yeah, totally. Man. Graham, you're a newly married man. You have a baby on the way.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to ask Josh? He's got a lot of wisdom here.
You do have a lot of wisdom. Sorry, I was trying to figure out our next episode, so I'm a little out of it.
I could say something while you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because like Hope and I, we have great sex. And we have great sex not because I was really good at having sex. We have great sex because I brought everything I thought I knew about anything, and I wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because because it has happened in my flesh, it's like I would try to do something that I know feels good or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I take anything from outside and try to put it inside our marriage, we both feel it.
Wow.
Yep. You're 100% right.
So the greatest gift we gave to each other is let's just go before God. And we literally we pray before we have sex. And it might sound weird to people, but try it.
Yeah.
Take it for a
Yeah.
spin. You'll be surprised.
Pretty cool.
Level it up in the bedroom.
But it's like when I can go before her, and we're naked in our thinking, and that it's almost like going on this incredible adventure. And it's like I just know that we're going to go to the beach, babe, and we're going to stay at this place. And I know that you're a planner, but I don't know what we're going to do today, but we're going to have the best time. I just know that it's going to be awesome. Would you come with me? And when you approach sex like that, it's incredible.
Totally.
Because there's no expectation. And I'm not trying to do this, or it's like people are like, what, are toys sinful, or is this sinful? Is this sinful? It's like, man, you're trying to build something that God has already created. You're trying to make something better that's already awesome.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need more ingredients.
Right. Right.
It's incredible as it is. So if you could just strip away everything you thought it should be and just enjoy it, it'll be better than anything that you could create on yourself.
It's so true.
That's powerful too, because how many, feel like their sex life is, kind of a dud. So you bring other things in, the role playing and the toys, and
I think
it adds more stress, I think, because then you're,
It's just more complicated.
and it's because you're
complicated.
disconnected.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if
It's the intimacy is gone.
If you are communication, if you're communicating, it's like, man, to anyone, it's like, am I communicating with my wife well? It's like, well, if you have to ask that question, you're probably
The
not.
answer's no.
It's like I love that quote where the biggest misconception with communication is the thought that it has happened.
Right. Yeah.
Like feeling like, oh, I communicated that. Did you?
yeah.
So it's like, man, if you're not talking, if you're not vibing with each other,
yeah.
and you're not enjoying her, and you're not, if you're not honoring her and making
Yeah.
her feel protected and seen and known and loved, and she's not honoring you and cheering you on
Yeah.
and you making you feel like, the man that you are. If you don't feel that, there's going to be some level of disconnect. So can you have sex and have an orgasm? Sure. Can you experience the intimacy that's available to you? No.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's something that has nothing to do with sex that's preventing you from having great sex.
That's a really good
That's so
point.
good.
Yeah.
That's so good. You're sitting across from a 22-year-old who feels like pornography is the closest thing to intimacy that they will have. What do you say?
I mean, I think most people would be so quick to just say, that's wrong, stop doing it, But my question would be, why do you think that? Like, when did you first see it? How did you first see it? How's that played a part in your story? And then I could share that, neurologically, it's really damaging to your mind, and it hurts a lot of kids, hurts a lot of women, destroys a lot of marriages, and it's not only like wrong, it's really bad for you. So as a 22-year-old, if you want to know anything about sex, know that pornography is going to teach you nothing about sex.
Because it's such the thing to do, right? Especially at 22, young men, young women.
Yeah.
If they're honest about it, it's like something's happening throughout the day at some point.
Yeah.
Well, in a closet, in the bathroom, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And if that's part of your story and you're listening to this, man, there's grace for you. There's grace for you. Like, who hasn't wrestled with sexual sin?
Yeah.
No one.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
only Jesus Christ is the
Yeah.
only, flesh and blood person that has not wrestled with sexual sin. So there's grace for you. And I think that, like, porn is just not the solution. I can speak from someone who was in it, that, I watched it. And I think it's like, if someone wanted to stop watching it, you can't, like, try really hard not to look at it. That's not helpful. It's like, try really hard to not do the thing you don't want to do. Probably going to do it. So for me, I had to get to a place where I really thought long and hard and prayed, and I was reading 2 Samuel 11 and 12, and David, man after God's own heart, he was supposed to be off at war, and he wasn't where he was supposed to be. And then he saw Bathsheba bathing, and so he wasn't where he was supposed to be. He saw something he shouldn't have seen, and then he had a choice.
But then he planned something he shouldn't have planned.
And he planned something he shouldn't have planned.
Yeah.
And not only did he plan something he shouldn't have planned, he tried to cover it up.
Yeah.
So in the same way that, we clear our browser history, David tried to send Uriah out in the battle to be killed to cover up what he did. And there's this really interesting moment, because when David sees Bathsheba on the roof, he sends someone to go see about her. And they come back, and he's like, her name is Bathsheba. She is a wife
Yeah.
to Uriah
Yeah.
and a daughter. And there was something in that. It was just like an aha moment for me. And like, man, that's not a hot girl. That's an image bearer of God.
Yeah.
That is someone's daughter. That's someone's wife. That's someone's sister.
Yeah.
That's someone that God has deemed worthy of dignity and honor and glory. And if you can see people like God see them, it changes the game.
Yeah.
But it has to start with, do you see you like God sees you? So I mean, that's kind of where I would take that person, that 22-year-old, just really trying to figure out. And I'm watching porn because I'm lonely. Well, porn is only going to make you more lonely because you have the perceived, experience of connectedness, but you haven't experienced the thing that you actually desire because you actually want to be seen and known and interacted with. But you had
I got mine.
got it?
something
Okay.
just brilliant you were going to say.
Come on.
Okay, my wife's 8 months pregnant, which means our sex life looks a little different.
Okay.
Obviously,
Right.
if I had a watermelon duct taped to my stomach,
You just got to lay on her
it'd
side.
be harder.
I was going
but-
to say, we're,
Sorry,
I'm just saying, like,
things got crazy around here 9 months for me.
like frequency is different, like compared to our honeymoon or the first couple months that we were married and stuff. And obviously, after we have our little girl,
Yeah.
there's like a 6-week no-fly zone.
Yeah.
So, how would you advise people that are going through maybe changes in the frequency, or changes in the expectations in their sex life, and the struggles or the difficulties or the temptations that can bring?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question because the reality that if what if your significant other is deployed?
Right.
What if your significant other, is a nurse or doctor
travels
or
a lot or whatever.
travels a lot?
Yeah.
I've heard, again, not to bash anyone, but I've heard people I respect so much say that masturbation is a tool to
So they don't cheat.
to go. Yeah, I'm like,
Ugh.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, I think you said a really important word. You said, how do I manage my expectations? And I think that when there's communication, there's no expectations outside of, something. I've got expectations and you've got expectations and you think you know what's going on. I think I know what's going on. You have to communicate. And I think like in the times in which you can't have sex, I think intimacy can grow in those spaces. And that's just part of the deal. It's like, you have to fight for intimacy. Like the more busy your life gets and, like when you have, when your child is born and you have more kids, it's like when we have 4 kids, it's like for us to maintain intimacy, it has to be really intentional. And I think you can get, I'm not against people who like calendar it. I think it's great. A cheat code, is get a babysitter and do a date night, but have that date night be at a hotel and get room service.
Ooh, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Highly recommend, especially if you
Very
got lots of
smart.
kids.
Yeah.
Highly recommend, because sometimes it's like, hey, don't come in mommy and daddy's bed.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're at a restaurant.
they're coming
right?
in.
You come
They're coming
home.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming in. So I would say, like going through
Still wanna
that,
have that time, yeah.
I'd really say seek
That's
the
good.
Lord. I say seek, it's time for you to seek the Lord. Anytime there's separation from anything that's become a normal rhythm for your life. Well, I mean, the Bible talks about this over and over. It's like there's rhythms and seasons, and in all those things, well, today's the day the Lord has made, and I'm going to be glad in it. And I'm just going to do the next right thing. And whatever that looks like, that's what I'm going to do. And so as you're going through that,
Yeah.
like maybe your body will like, it'll be aware that something that's not happening, but I don't have to succumb to my flesh because I'm no longer a slave to it. So I mean it's biblical, and it might sound like, well, that's not helpful, but it actually is. It's like, for in the times in which you desire intimacy, seek it, but maybe it can't be sex,
Right.
and be okay with that. But that doesn't mean it have to always stay that way.
I hope it doesn't always stay that way.
Yeah.
There's definitely seasons.
What I meant is like, I just meant like if it gets in, like there's a lesser frequency, because what could also happen is you get in a bad rhythm
Yes.
of disconnectedness,
Yeah.
and you're just sitting beside each other scrolling,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden,
Right,
all of a sudden you've allowed a season to define a lifetime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's the enemy's plan.
Right.
The enemy's plan is to disrupt things where God has entrusted you with a child, and it should be a thing that creates more intimacy in your life. But again, like Satan's always like trying to chip away at that hierarchy. It always has to be you and God, you and your spouse, then you and your children. And when your kids are young, it's like, that's really hard.
Right.
It's really hard to navigate
Right.
through. But just because they demand more of your time doesn't mean they get more of, they don't matter more than she does.
Right.
I think too, for women, it's like you don't have to feel like it to have sex, because a lot of times you don't feel like it, and then you start and you're
That's
like,
a big
oh,
part of
actually
it.
that's really fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think,
Yeah.
especially when my kids were little, I'll speak for myself, I was exhausted, I was touched out, and then the idea of going and spending time with my husband was like, I can't have anyone else touch me. And then we'd start having sex, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know why I was so resistant to it.
Yeah, because you
So-
can feel like I'm overstimulated,
Yeah.
or I'm too tired. It's like
And that's not
you,
fair.
you are
Yeah.
until you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
needed
Someone
him to
else
lead
who
and be like,
wants
hey,
something else from
we
me.
need to have sex.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
so it's like this give and take of like,
Yeah.
like you said, there's a mutuality of it where
Yeah.
don't let it go so long where then it's weird.
Yeah,
And then it's, yeah.
What about going into it as a fast?
yeah,
As a married couple, like something's happened. I'll speak for me. I had a surgery that required me to not have sex for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And so Ricky, in his mindset, he's like, okay, so how do I? So the expectation, we talked about it very openly.
Yeah.
So he knew, and I knew.
yeah,
But we did, spend more intimate time together, talking, cuddling, like you.
Yeah.
His love language is quality time and touch mostly. But he understood.
Yeah.
We can't do it anyway.
No.
So instead of getting frustrated, we had open conversation about it all the time.
yeah.
And he's like, is it up yet?
Yeah.
Is it up
Is it
yet?
time?
6 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like within the marriage,
Yeah,
kind of a fasting.
yeah.
I don't know if that feels weird.
I mean,
A sexual fast.
yeah. I mean, I think. I mean, again, the Bible says
Yeah.
that for you not to, keep each other from each other unless you are seeking the Lord in a fast. And I think if our relationship has been built on sex, then I think it would be an appropriate thing to fast from. And
Yeah.
and maybe sometimes it's like, that's not anything I would ever do, and then all of a sudden that happens.
Yeah.
Something happens out of your
Yeah.
control, and guess what? God
your
has given
control.
God has given you the gift of interceding on your behalf,
Yeah.
and now you have to do what you need to do,
Right.
because He's a good Father.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. We saw a funny video
Okay.
and we need your insight as a
Okay.
man,
Okay.
whether this is accurate or
Okay.
not. Because it will improve all of our lives as women.
Totally.
Okay.
If it's true.
Okay.
And if it's not, we need to know.
I can't wait to do this, but I need
We need the green
your
light. that
reaction
this
to
is-
it
Yeah. Let's do it.
before
Let's
I.
do it. Let's do it.
yeah.
Let's
Okay.
check it out.
Every male relationship in my life changed when I started calling all of them Big Dog. Hey, Big Dog! Oh, Big Dog's here! What's up, Big Dog? Oh, Big Dog with the corduroy pants. They can't get enough of it. If you want to get things done, work the system, just throw out a Big Dog.
Okay.
What do you
Big
think?
dog. How,
What?
What do you
Hey, let's go. I mean, it makes me sit up a little bit, you know. But again, it points to the fact that most guys are words of affirmation guys,
Yeah.
and you think, okay, big, you think dominant, dog, you think powerful.
Yep.
So it's like there's something in words that unlocks something in people, and yeah, I mean, if you speak to people that way, and that could be a really good tool for our singles out there. It's like,
Yeah.
if I'm big dogging you, you know who you are and you know who you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Right. Seriously.
If you're big dog,
Right.
you're not sweetheart. You know?
Right. That's
Okay,
funny.
so you're pro.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
something
all,
positive.
I'm all for it.
Just like, yeah.
I'm all for it. I think it's
I don't
great.
think I can call Rick Big Dog, but I can think of some other names that he'd be like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
You talking to
Totally.
me?
I mean,
Yeah.
I would respond to big dog.
Yes.
I like it.
Love
Yeah.
I think it's great. But it's true.
Love it.
It's like, but there's something that if you affirm someone in some sort of way, they do carry themselves different, and they will interact with you different. And it's
Yeah.
because we all want to be, we want to feel something. We want to be
Yeah.
seen, and we want to be championed in some way. And I think she's got a cheat code.
I think so too.
So
I even
good.
see it with my husband, like
I love it.
affirming in him the things I see. That guy levels it up every like just speaking over him who
Yeah.
he is and who he's becoming, and it unlocks something powerful
Yeah.
in the men that we love.
Like I told you, like that day that Hope was like, hey, thank you so much for working so hard for providing us with the life that we have. Unstoppable.
Right.
Exactly.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
unstoppable. And I served her more intentionally. I worked harder. I engaged with people differently.
Yeah.
And I think that is the gift in which we can unlock in people each and every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Good point.
Amen.
Okay. The next thing that we're going to head into is a little segment called Don't Cancel Me,
Okay.
where we like to spout beliefs that we have that might be controversial.
Okay.
I don't trust men with weird facial hair. Like if they're carving in like a weird design, or you can tell they're putting in like a lot of effort into their facial hair. Or this is a big one, like a mustache that requires wax.
Ooh.
If it's like handlebar, or they're like putting, I don't want to kiss that. That's disgusting. And I just feel like that's an insecure man who has to put that much time into his weird facial hair.
Yeah, for sure. Like the handlebar thing is kind of like maybe there's a little eccentric, but I
Yeah.
think it's worse. Like there's times where like sometimes I'll see people with there's like a symmetrical goatee, and then there's like you're doing too much.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, that's time, energy, effort. There's a lot of creativity that has to go into exactly what the shape is. I don't know. It makes me feel weird. So that's mine. And I'm going to offend every single man who has weird facial hair.
When
but-
you watch
Who uses wax
have you ever seen Iron
on their
Man?
face?
Yeah.
Like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man facial hair. Does that make you feel uncomfortable?
is it just like a mustache and a goatee?
Yeah,
Or-
but it's like shaped.
I'd have to look at it, but it doesn't evoke an emotional or
If
like
you
it
look,
didn't.
if you see it after
Now, if I
today,
look at
it will
it-
bother you.
Okay.
Because he would be a great example of that,
Well,
especially like
Let's-
in Iron Man specifically.
yeah.
Yeah, let me, because now I'm trying to remind myself. Will you pull up a photo? So is
Okay,
also
okay,
this.
yes,
Yeah,
that's wrong.
yeah, see,
because
that's-
you got the bottom that's too thin.
But I mean, how do you even go about that? Like, what kind of
Yeah.
tools are you
Yeah.
using?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Because I mean, I
This barber's
just got
doing
I just got a Mach 3 and some clippers, and I don't know.
yeah. This is next level.
Are you
like-
wanting to see more filled in?
I'm just like a little like natural. Like you have cool facial hair, fine. I'm just talking about like if you need wax, if
Like
you
genuine,
need,
like
if you're,
yeah,
Genuine.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure.
That's like next level.
For sure.
But I saw a guy on an airplane recently, and the whole time he's like twirling his mustache.
I really am bothered by still Christian influencers with their shirts off.
Oh, that's fair.
But also
fair.
the girls that start the video where like it's like they're talking about something motivational or their scripture, but it's just like a but. It's just but, and then they're talking about something that has nothing to do with them, but like for guys, they start the video where they're putting their shirt on, and the girls they start the video where it's but.
That's
Like
fair.
you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, the first thing that I thought of in my head is like I always feel insecure around some of my friends in like ministry because I feel like they're like almost like maybe like 90% of the people that I'm close to that do ministry at high capacity, they can all sing really well, and I can't.
I understand
It's like my he lives in Colorado Springs. My friend Brandon Cormier. Like we'll be like we'll just be worshiping, and then all of a sudden he'll just like go off on this. I'm just like, bro, like what? Am I saved? Right? Should I be able to do that? Right? Is that like another level of the Holy
Right.
Spirit?
It
Is
It's
that
another
like
level of
speaking in
anointing.
tongues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have it either. And
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's good.
I feel intensely jealous of people who have incredible voices.
I would be the most annoying person ever.
If you could like, if you could
Just, like,
throw down
bust
like
it out.
Genuine,
Oh yeah, I would.
what would you say to Hope? Like how would that?
What song would you say? Like,
Yeah.
She likes like country music, so I'd have to listen to it and then sing it.
little Chris Stapleton. That
Yeah.
would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we
That's a good
like
one.
the show that we love to watch together is The Voice. That's like our favorite.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like after it gets past the blinds, it's like
not it.
not. I mean,
Yeah.
because then it's like too produced and
Yeah.
they're battling and they're only singing for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But like when they just go out there and just like they're trying to get somebody to turn and they just like kill.
Yeah. When
love
it
watching
hits,
that.
it's
And
so
it's who
inspiring.
you don't think. You're like, what?
Yeah.
That voice is coming out of you.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's a new show, Star Search. Well, it's back. It's made a comeback.
Okay.
But it puts the vote in the viewers' hands. So with your remote,
Is it all different talents? Or is
all
it just
different talent. So
singing?
it feels like
Like
America's
America's
Got
Next Top
Talent.
Talent?
Yeah. But it's I think this is the OG of that. But you can enter how many stars. And so the judges critique and then America gets to vote.
that's
I'm not
cool.
sure what I think about it yet because it does. It feels like America's Got Talent.
That's cool.
Singing, dancing, comedy.
I always feel like underwhelmed when it's like they could be literally doing anything, but if it's not like hip hop dancing or singing, I feel underwhelmed. But maybe that's just a
I
preference.
think that's fair. I mean, when people
just
go
not-
and
I'm
like,
just
juggle,
unimpressed,
I'm like,
you know?
it's
You're
okay.
like, there isn't any other talent in the world other than dancing and
Yeah.
singing.
Are you
yeah.
a good hip hop dancer? Like, could you bust a move?
There was a time. There's a time.
That pause told us everything. He's like, oh, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I can.
Oh,
You guys
my
give me the
goodness.
time
There's
and place. I
hidden
can.
talents
Yeah.
that we might draw on at MomCon.
Hey,
Ask Ben Higgins.
It's
This is what
there.
we ask you to
I
do.
can
at
save
MomCon.
money. I don't need to hire
I was there. I
dancers.
saw it.
You did.
I saw
We're
it.
going to do a musical number for you this year
saw
where
it.
your hip hop skills will come into play. And so,
I would love that. Like a choreograph it. It'd be great.
do you want like an outfit, a special
Yes.
outfit too? Okay.
He's dreaming about it now.
Yeah.
I mean, we can make a lot of dreams come true. So,
I mean, I'm good friend. Do you know who the Jabberwockies is?
Yes.
So I'm
Absolutely.
good friends
Absolutely.
with them.
what?
That would be sick.
You in front of them.
But no one would know it was me, and I'll
Right.
take
Because
my
you
mask
got your
And then they're
mask.
like, "What?"
Right. That
That
was
would
Josh
be-
the whole time?
Yeah.
It's like the masked singer, but the masked dancer.
Yeah.
That you would.
Okay.
Man, that
well,
was Josh.
We can make things happen.
There we go.
Okay.
Make dreams come true.
Yeah.
That would probably be. Hope would enjoy that a lot.
Okay. Let's chat. We like to make things happen.
So glad you came,
We'll
Josh.
figure it out.
Yeah.
So glad. So glad.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we have for today on the Mandy Show, but make sure to join us every Tuesday for a new episode. If you made it this far, we're curious, what's a hot take that you have? So leave a comment down below, and maybe it'll show up in the next episode. Once again, Josh, thanks for being with us.
It's my
You're
joy.
the best.
Bomb.
Oh, and we have to
And
say
just say, "I love ya."
our closing line.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3.
Love
Love ya.